வணக்கம். நம்ம இப்போ டெல்லியில் நொய்டாவில் இருக்கோம். ஸோ நொய்டாவில் வந்ததுக்கான ரீசன் விருந்திராணி அவார்ட்ஸ் கொடுக்கறதுக்காக ஒருத்தரை பார்க்க வந்திருக்கோம். உங்களுக்கு தெரியும்னு நினைக்கிறேன். நம்ம பார்க்க போகிறது ஷிஞ்சினி குல்கர்னியை. சரி, வாங்க போய் பார்க்கலாம்.
Namaskar, I am Shinjini Kulkarni, Kathak dancer from New Delhi, India. I represent the 9th generation of Kalka Bindadin Gharana, popularly also known as the Lucknow Gharana. I'm extremely blessed to be the granddaughter of Padma Vibhushan Pandit Birju Maharaj, who also happens to be my guru. Currently, I'm under the guidance of my eldest uncle, Pandit Jaikishan Maharaj. Because I've been born in a gharana of Kathak, training started very early on at the age of 3. And my first performance ended up, I think, between the age of 5 and 8. So dance became like my second language. I didn't even realize when I started absorbing it just by being around such maestros. It was only after graduation that I thought that I wanted to dedicate my entire life to Kathak. Even though it's been an integral part of my life, I always thought that this won't be my profession. However, I feel like destiny has other plans for you and you can never really outrun them. Now, life is such that of 24 hours, at least 20 hours are spent either dancing or talking about dance, thinking about Kathak bowls, teaching, or some other activity which is related to my profession. My guru used to use the word samarpan, and that term really now starts to resonate with me. Because when we were beginning, I didn't really understand the depth of that word. But now in the last few years, I've started to realize what samarpan is, what sadhana is. I'm sure there are going to be many more layers of it to come. I have a long way to go and a long career, hopefully, touch wood, in front of me. But I'm extremely full of gratitude to be able to present my family's name via Kathak dance and also be a part of the Lasya family through this wonderful and very prestigious award that they have been so kind to bestow upon.
पार्वती संग निरतत शंकर पार्वती संग निरतत शंकर पार्वती संग निरतत शंकर पार्वती डिम 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 बाजत करे डमरू डिम 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 बाजत करे डमरू डिम 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 बाजत करे डमरू नूपुर चन चन आर करे नूपुर चन चन आर करे निरतत शंकर पार्वती संग निरतत शंकर
AstroVed. We proudly deliver authentic Vedic solutions and remedy services. Become a member of AstroVed today. Witness a positive shift in your life.
Namaskar, Shinjini ji. So I just very happy to meet you all people in Delhi, and very happy to meet you personally here for this Vrindrani Awards. So very first I just wanted to ask you about Kathak. So you are into this family legacy for last 9 generations, this family legacy into Kathak. So how you feel about it, and what is your role you are doing in it?
I feel extremely blessed because this is a responsibility and a privilege both. Responsibility because you have to live up to the expectations that people have from you and the benchmarks that the family has already set. And a privilege because you get a platform on the basis of the work done by your ancestors. For Kathak, it's my heart and soul. It's everything. I live and breathe Kathak, and I possibly was not like this up till a certain age, but I think as I'm maturing, the flavor of Kathak and my love for it is only deepening. I have performed in school and in my college years, of course. I think a very big aspect of performance and losing your stage fright and becoming a performer per se comes with the idea that I performed extensively in my school, and my school dance teachers have a very big role to play in the kind of artist that I am. In addition, of course, to my gurus who were in the family. But I think what happens is that when you perform in schools and colleges in those fests, you are very young and you are ready to experiment. At that time, you have not been tagged as a dancer already, as a classical dancer, and you do not have that image to live up to. At that time, you can experiment in any way that you like. And you're also like kachi mitti, clay. So you can get molded in any way possible. So I feel that those years are wonderful. I think some of my most daring work I have done in my college years. And I feel like those were golden days.
So as a young dancer in this, so what do you wanted to tell for the upcoming dancers and the young dancers, how the Kathak industry is like?
Well, young dancers are extremely lucky and blessed to have a social media as a platform available to them, which allows them to be independent. They do not have to wait for someone to give them a stage. They have a stage every day, anywhere. At the same time, I also feel like what is very important is that there are two cardinal principles on the basis of which I function, which is you will always entertain your audiences, and B, you will never sell your soul to entertain your audiences. So it's very easy to chase Instagram algorithms and social media algorithms. Not saying that it's any less important. Just the fact that that's not the be-all and end-all of a classical dancer. So anyone who's coming in the field now or in the past couple of years I think my word of advice to them, even though I'm very young, I have some of my space to give advice to people, but my advice still would be have conviction in the purity of your form. Don't feel that in order to gain name, fame, etc., you have to dilute the purity. No. I think if you're doing good work, if you're doing thought-provoking work, you will always find your niche.
So any of classical art form, like anything, like in Kathak also, there is as a performing artist, a guru, and a research analyst. So like that. So what do you feel which is like in your future you're going to do much more like, right?
Performer is something that I am at the moment, and I'm enjoying it the most because my body physically allows me to dance at my peak right now. Guru is something that Guru is a very strong word, Raj. So according to the Sanskrit explanation of the different terms for teaching, I believe that the best that we can come close to is anyone who teaches you a skill is an acharya, right? Somewhere around those lines, but I would call myself a teacher. A very simple teacher, adhyapak. That I became during the pandemic in a much bigger way because I started teaching online. I've always had an academy, but I wasn't teaching as much as I started teaching during the pandemic. And as far as research analyst is concerned, I think it's a very important role and one full of responsibility because your work decides the course of the dance form for the next many generations to come. So whatever you write today then becomes a reference point for students of Kathak in the coming generations. So I feel extremely driven for it. I wouldn't say no. I have a very academic bent of mind. And I've been a studious child all my life. I like to do studies and research, but not on the cards right now.
So yeah, as a young dancer and performer, So what do you think, what more we want to be in a comfortable space of Kathak, or to make the industry grow in a better way? What is much needed right now? A support from government or something like that, even from the people.
I feel like two things are very important. One, some kind of art appreciation as a part of curriculum for students. What used to happen earlier was parents used to take children to classical concerts, all-night shows, etc. There weren't too many other entertainment media. Now, with so many different things opening up and everyone having a mobile phone in their hand, there's just way too much happening. However, so what happens is that in this process of having so much more access to content, you cannot differentiate between what is good and what is bad for someone who's a layman who doesn't have any kind of knowledge for classical. So I feel like very basic, but teaching children about the method of appreciating good art or art in general becomes important in order to keep this forward, because then they become the rasikas in the coming generations, right? This is one thing. And the other thing is, a lot of the times there are some fabulous artists who, just due to the fact that they did not have the right kind of exposure or grooming or education, haven't been able to make it internationally. Nationally, they're still able to work. They'll find their way, some or the other way. But internationally, they're not able to do it. And India is a huge country. So one body of ICCR possibly cannot do as much as needed. I think we need to simplify the process wherein such schemes can help, can benefit artisans. And when I'm talking about artists, I'm not just talking about classical artists who might have had the privilege of good education, English medium education, where they can fill up for these grants and they can fill up for these schemes and scholarships. We're also talking about a host of folk artists and a host of people who are coming from the hinterland, who probably do not know how to write these grants. And there are these benefit schemes for them, but they are not reaching out because they possibly don't know that they exist.
One more thing, I just wanted to know, like, as an artist, so when it is like a live performance, it'll be a whole lot of people will be cheering up. And when it is like an online kind of performance, it will be like a promotion, large number of people can able to watch it. But what will be the future? What is good for it?
I think it's going to be the simultaneous existence of both. You have to understand that there is nothing that sitting together, there is an exchange of vibrations. I can feel your aura sitting next to me, very calm, very composed. And similarly, I hope you can too. That exchange of energy, when you imagine that when I'm dancing and I'm exuding that energy into the audience and there are 600 people who reflect it back to me, can you imagine the kind of energy flow in that auditorium? That doesn't happen in an online show. What does happen is we are able to promote classical arts to a much wider audience, which is also extremely required at the moment. So I feel like a simultaneous thing. Why cannot we have a well-produced live show which is being streamed online as well, with a 3-4 camera setup, just like you have a reality show, and you have live audience there as well? Why is it that even when you do an IPL today in an empty cricket stadium, you still put sounds of people cheering and clapping and stuff? Because that is a part of that experience. Similarly, classical performances experience has clapping, applause, wah kya baat hai, ek baar aur. These kind of things add to the experience of a performance. If that is missing, you always will feel like you're playing cricket in an empty stadium.
So yes, it's supposed to be taken in a very serious note, and we have to develop in a much better way for the digital platform. And yeah, we are so happy to meet you here. And what do you wanted to say for the Rasikas who are being voted?
Oh my God, I feel so humbled. It's come as a very warm surprise because I'm not very active on social media. I wasn't very active on social media until recently. Just the fact that people give you their time that little extra effort where they go and vote for you, or they show their love through some or the other method, I think that is what you live for, right? The appreciation and acknowledgement of your work, and coming from the audiences is the biggest award.
Feeling so humbled because of the audience and the Rasikas, we could able to meet all the artists. So it is great pleasure for us.
I must add, Raj, that these Rasikas are also those who have seen over the years many members of my family perform. My grandfather, my uncles, my aunt. And for them to feel like I'm good enough, I'm living up to the expectations, is really like the acid test of the whole thing. So that's why even more special. So thank you. Thanks to the Lasya for giving me this award. It really feels like passing a test.
The Lasya and Astrovith proudly present Vrindrani Awards to Shinjini Kulkarni ma'am.
I feel extremely blessed. Getting recognition from Rasikas is the biggest kind of blessing. It also feels extremely special because I'm getting to share this award with some of the biggest names across the dancing fraternity of India. So a big thank you to the Lasya for firstly instituting such an award and making me a part of the family through this process.